Yeah, when I did that, I was like, oh, hell no. That's why I went in there and got I tried to fix it. I was like, yeah, I was ready to cut it all off. I was like, yeah, because I do look like Abe or somebody.
Just like Abe's cousin, because you're a little bit too light, because even Abraham Lincoln was a little bit darker.
They tried to say he was black. I got a thing on it that say he was black. Yeah, I got a thing on my phone that say that the real Abraham Lincoln was black.
Might have been. We only know what they tell us, and they don't tell us a whole lot.
Yeah, people that don't treat you right ain't gonna teach you right.
Right, exactly. Welcome back to Life Stuff TV, where we talk about life stuff. So today, I am your girl T.
And every day I'm your boy B.
And today we are going to talk about communication in marriages and in a relationship.
Yeah.
So, just recently, hubby and I had some disagreements, or a disagreement. Now, the disagreement is something that we've been struggling with for some time now, meaning before marriage and now during marriage. We still have not really gotten this part down pat. So I'm going to tell you what I think, and then he's going to tell you what he thinks or what his side is. So from what I get, we are discussing this issue or this matter in our marriage. It is communicating and quality time. And it's kind of, for me, I think it's kind of entwined together because it's a matter of us talking about spending time together. So for me, I consider quality time is any time that he and I are together and doing things together that is either associated with me or with him. Meaning sometimes there are things that he does with me, or should I say most of the time he does things with me that I like to do, and some of the times I do things with him that he likes to do. Whatever that may be, I don't know. Anyway, the situation and the issue is he gets upset, or he has this thing that I don't spend enough quality time. However, he already knew before we got married, before we got into this, that he was marrying a woman that has 5 jobs. And when I say 5 jobs, I really do have 5 jobs. And I think I just added another one, which may make it 6. So I'm a hairstylist. From my hairstyling and from my clients, I use my phone a lot. From there, I have an online store. And with my online store and my orders, I also use my phone a lot. Then I have my YouTube channel, which I do have another YouTube channel, West Coast Finest, and I upload videos all the time on that, which I use my phone and my laptop. Then I have my dogs. I have some little small Bichon dogs, and then I have, and I breed them, so I have 6 dogs to be total. 4 girls and 2 boys. And then I soul line dance. So I'm a line dance instructor, and I do that every Tuesday. So I do have a lot going on. And I just recently, well, I've had my life insurance license for 2 years, and I just recently started with a new company. So I think that actually is going to give me 6 jobs now. So I don't have, my time is split up, all these chops here, there, hour here, 2 hours there. And my husband is always telling me about time management. Now I know I do have a problem and an issue with time management, but it's going to take a lot of work for me to try to manage all these jobs.
Yeah, I think it's important that scheduling. You got to create a schedule. That way you can accommodate each and every title that you work up under. You know what I mean? You just can't say, well, I'm going to do this for like 20 minutes, because we all know that stuff don't work out that way. Blueprints change all the time. So you have to set a schedule and live by that schedule. I mean, that's how I feel. I think quality time is, this is quality time to me because we're sharing something special. You know, it's something special about the object and the person. That's what quality time is to me. Quality time is spending that quality time with no distractions, no phone, no kids, no nothing. See, it's different. It's a difference for me with quality time and spending time. I can spend time with you. I can occupy the same space as you, and we're sharing that time, even though you're doing something else and I'm doing something else. But quality time to me is delving off into that person, finding out what's going on with them. You know, like a check-in, like you were saying. Quality time is showing that person that it's something special about you. It's different from spending time. I spend time with my coworkers. I be with them for 12 hours. It doesn't mean that it's quality time because I'm spending time with them, but I'm working on something else. And quality time for me is undivided attention. That means that if I'm spending time with you, I'm not letting this bother me, or this bother me until I finish that little 20 minutes or that little hour or so. To me, quality time is special time. It's not the time that you spend with everybody else because I'm in the house. You in the house. I may be in one room, you may be in another room. I'm still in that same time with you. But quality time is sharing something special about that person or spending that time. No distractions, no phones, no kids, no nothing. That's the difference with me between time and quality time. I don't know if it makes sense.
So I do understand what you say when you say quality time, and I do understand that there is a difference. I mean, that makes a whole lot of sense to say that the quality time is with no interruptions and, you know, nothing else interfering with that time. So I guess what we need to do is try to come up with, or what I need to do is try to come up with that time that we can spend and how much time, because I'm only one person and because I have so many businesses and I don't have anybody working with me. 24 hours is just not enough time in a day for me to do all the things that I need to do because each job requires so much responsibility for me.
Yes.
And I'm trying to do a little bit on this job, a little bit on that job. Because the thing with the jobs that I have, it's not like I can do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's a constant thing that I have to do. With my clients, I'm constantly talking about new appointments, old appointments, new hairstyles. With my online, I get orders daily, so I'm trying to get those together, package them up, get them to the post office. With my dogs, I need to feed them, I need to groom them. I have one dog that's pregnant now, so I got to take a little bit of extra time with her, trying to nurture her. And then at the same time, I dance every Tuesday. So it's just so much going on to where it's not an intentional trying not to spend quality time, but it's like I'm on this paper chase too,
Yeah.
at the same time.
I get that. I just feel that if you create a schedule and you prioritize according to the highest, then work your way down and then give yourself a certain amount of time for this, because you know you got so many things that you have to do in a day and it's only so many hours in a day. If you only got 24 hours in a day, you can't spend 20 hours on this knowing that you got 5 more other things that you need to do. I think that the best way to handle a situation like, I mean, it's easy for me because I don't do it, so I do have to be understanding about that you are spread it real thin. So that's why creating a schedule comes in, because what happens is one overlaps into the other one, then that one overlaps into that one, then that overlaps into that one, and now we have a continuous cycle of incompletion of all the endeavors that we just created. Because the main thing of a mission for me is to not just start the mission, but to complete the mission. You know what I mean? And you have to set aside time for that, because it takes away from other stuff. If you spend 3 hours on that, now you got to come over here. You think it's only going to take 20 minutes, but we all know it don't work like that sometimes. Sometimes that 20 minutes may run over into an hour because an unexpected twist may come along or something like that. But if you prioritize and you set a set schedule and live by it, everything will work out just fine. I think so, but like I said, it's hard. I don't have but one job, well, two really. You know what I mean? I go to work from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. and then I come home and I have to be a husband to my wife and do all the things that my household requires or that needs to be done. So to me, that's a second job, but it's about prioritizing and scheduling. That's very important, because you just can't go all willy-nilly, say I'm gonna do this, and then next thing you know, you done committed like 6 hours to it, and you still got like 5 more other things. And then when it's time to spend that quality time, you know, you really can't afford to do it, because you have so many incomplete projects because you spend too much time on one. That's what I think.
Well, I think during the week or during your work days, I think the quality time is really not that essential for you. I could be wrong, but that's my assessment, that the days that you have to go to work, the quality time isn't so prioritized, because you in your work mode. It's like, hey, I know I got to get up, I got to go to work, I do this and I do that, I get my rest. Whatever it is that you need to do to prepare yourself for work. So during your work days is not the issue. I think the issue comes in on the days that you are off work. And when you are off work, that's when you have a lot of idle time, and it's like, okay, what do you have to do? What do you got going on today? And my work days, because I have so many jobs, I really don't have a specific off day where I can just have the whole 24 hours where I don't have to do anything, because it just doesn't work like that with too many jobs.
Yeah, I look at it like this, you know, because I remember I was in a situation to where I had to multitask, and I had to govern a lot of people and stuff like that. So basically what I've done was I had set aside, you know, I'm going to spend this much time on this. I'm going to spend this much time on this, and I'm going to spend this much time on this. And once that time got there, and it was time to move on, or whatever extra time that I had left, that's the time that, you know what I mean, I go back to the project in which I feel like I didn't complete, or something like that. But I'm going to stick to the schedule. You have to stick to the script, you know, but first you have to have a script. When you freestyle, things seem to tend to go wrong, I believe. I believe that you should prepare, and that you should map it out and things like that. That way you'll keep track of time, you'll keep track of what all else that you need to do, and you'll know how much more time that you have left on this project. I mean, that's just for me. People are different.
Right, and I think that's the difference, because I'm not an incomplete person, so a lot of times I have to complete the project or complete it. I can't start loading a video and then don't complete it, because then I'll never get to uploading it when I have my audience waiting for the next video. It just kind of doesn't work like that. And for me, I feel like on your off days, I can't be off, and if I schedule, and it's not anything wrong with scheduling, and I understand what you're saying, scheduling, but because I have so many things, by the time I finish scheduling all these things to do, there's no more time left in the day. The only other time left is for me to try to get a little sleep.
And that right there in itself lets you know that sometimes you be doing things to overwhelm yourself, because if you put yourself in a position,
well, with 6 jobs, it's gonna be
that's
overwhelming. That's
what I'm
no
finna
way
say.
of
That's exactly what I'm about to say. See, when you put a lot up on your plate, you know, sometimes our eyes be bigger than our stomach. Not saying that this is the case, but sometimes your eyes be bigger than your stomach. So you take on more than what you're kind of like accustomed to. And so what happens with that is that certain things take more priority than others. And then when you really think about it, you be like, damn, I didn't finish this yet. So now you have to go over here. So now that cuts off into your sleep time. That cuts off into your quality time. That's why I feel, not saying that, I mean, my way is right. That's why you should have a schedule, because it allows you to see what you're working with and how much time that you have, you know what I mean, to do your work. It's not like, you know what I'm saying, you got all these jobs. You got all these jobs, which is cool and stuff like that. But if they're just everywhere sporadically, you know what I mean? Like 1 minute you're doing this, then the next minute you're doing that, then the next minute you're doing that. It kind of like gets confusing and things get messy and stuff like that. And then you probably lose focus on where you are. So then it becomes frustrating because now things is jumbled, is what I'm saying. It's jumbled and stuff. So now you created a situation where it's chaotic because you don't have that schedule, you don't have that structure.
I think that's just how you see it, because
that's
I don't consider I don't consider it to be chaotic. I don't consider it to be frustrating. The only frustrating part I have is when you step in and say that we're not spending quality time together and I'm not doing enough.
Well, with 6
and everything.
jobs.
So with 6 jobs, not to even mention, like he said, being a wife, trying to cook, still clean, wash, shop, and things that we do together.
And that's not including the things that hit us from the side,
which is the grandbabies when they come over from time to time. So there's just a lot in my life that I have going on, and unfortunately I don't have all this time to spend with my husband, just me and him with no distractions. Meaning I consider when we go shopping and we go from store to store for an hour or two, that's quality time with him and I together. But he says to him, really not, because that's still a distraction.
No, I'm not saying that. Going shopping, spending time together and stuff like that, a distraction comes in when we spending quality time, and then that time has to be interrupted because something else has to be done. You know what I mean? Because always something has to be done, especially with as many, you know, as multiple jobs as you have. You really can't say you have quality time. You can say, and I'm not saying you, that's a general statement. I'm saying for me, quality time is sharing something special about that object or person. Spending time is basically we're shopping together, so we're spending time. You know what I mean? But quality time, when you put that quality on it, it makes it a big difference, because to me, quality is something special about an object or person. But when you're basically spending time, we spend time together all the time. If that's the case, I don't have a gripe, because we are together a lot. We do spend time, whether it's working on video, whether it's going grocery shopping, whether it's working in the yard, whether it's dealing with the grandchildren, whatever, that's time. I get that. Quality
well,
time.
I think maybe we need, or maybe I'm going to put this on you because I have so much already.
Yeah.
You need to come up with what is quality time and when we're going to spend that quality time together, and then I will try to come in agreement with that. Because other than that, I can see us continuously having the same issue in our marriage over and over and over again, because the days that you are off, I can't be off. Days when you have 4 days off all together, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I cannot take all 4 of those days off.
Yeah,
and not have anything to do but spend this time with you. It's just my jobs is not gonna it's not gonna work for me.
That's why I feel, because you know this and you have so many jobs, that I won't say you have to, but you should consider structuring a time frame around everything because you know you have so many jobs and each one of them requires so much time,
And
it's only so
and
much.
I keep hearing
Yeah, and
you
it's
keep
only
going
so much
back
time
to this time
in
frame,
a day.
and as far as I'm concerned,
Because
I
that's
have
what
that
that's-
under control. Maybe to you it doesn't look like that's under control.
Yeah,
But as
because
far
it's
as
an
my
issue, because
jobs,
it's
I know what I'm
Yeah.
doing, and when I'm doing, I know what I
That's-
need to do. So
that's-
that
that's
is not
an
the issue with
That
for
exactly.
me.
That's not an issue. The
For
issue,
me,
the
that's
issue-
not an issue, but it sounds like it's an issue for you because you continue to keep saying
Yeah,
you need
because
to
I
schedule,
create-
you need to schedule,
Exactly.
you need to schedule, you need to
Because
put this
when you
in and
say,
this and then
because
this.
when you review it and you go back, I notice you keep saying it's not enough time in the day to do all this.
No,
and that
it's
and
not
that.
enough time in
See,
the day
and-
to do
and
that.
then-
Is
and
that
then-
the
and
time
then-
that
and
you
then-
require
and then-
that it's
and
not
then-
enough time.
And then
And
here's
that
the thing.
time only.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this, because we're talking about spending time once again. And you have to schedule, you have to structure, because you know you have 6 jobs and each and every last one of them requires a certain amount of time.
But I think because you're not the one doing the job,
Mhm.
you don't understand the setting the time. You don't understand that part because it's not your jobs. And for me, I'm not having a problem with that. That's not where
No,
the
the
problem
only
is.
the problem
The
comes
problem
in-
is when you start stepping in with the jobs that I have and you say, well, we're not spending quality time. And then when I give examples of things that we just did where I didn't pick up the phone and do any work, whether it was 20 minutes or 30 minutes, then that's not accountable for you. Meaning, you say, okay, well, we were outside cutting the dogs for 4 hours. I said, was that quality time? Well, yeah, that was quality time. Well, if that was considered quality time and we just did that for 4 hours, then the very next morning you say, you're not spending no quality time with me. Okay, well,
That's-
now I'm confused because
Yeah,
you
that's
just
not-
said
that's not-
that was quality
Yeah,
time. And then I
that's-
said, okay,
that's
well,
not what
after
happened.
we finished cutting the dogs, we came upstairs. First, after we cut the dogs, I cooked. So that was another job. I cooked, got our dinner together. We came upstairs. We ate dinner. We watched a movie. You fell asleep. Was that quality time? That's a question to you. Was that quality time?
For me, yes, because once again, quality, something special about an object or a person. No distractions, no interference. It don't have to be 5 hours. It could only be 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be a whole day. It doesn't have to be a whole hour. And when you do things and stuff like that, stuff that you normally do anyway, you know what I mean? It's spending time, but once again, that quality time. And it's hard to find that if you're a person that, you know, you have multiple tasks that you have to do. That means your time is consumed. That means your time is consumed anyway. So when I come along and I say, well, you're spending a lot of time on this, I'm not telling you not to spend no time on it. I'm just saying, you know, don't burn yourself out. Take under consideration that, you know, there's other things, you know, because I do help, because I know the more help you have, the more time I get with you. And that's why I help, at least I think I do. You know what I mean?
Right, and you
And
took help.
I love spending time with my wife. I just love the person that you are. But I also know that you got all these jobs and that you're headed in a direction and stuff like that. And I'm going in that direction with you. However, you do have to have, you know, navigation, because sometimes we go off road. We'll take the wrong exit. And then, you know, sometimes taking the wrong exit could lead into like a 30 or 40 minute delay on our route. So, you know, having a navigational system isn't bad. I'm not sitting up here knocking what you do, because I appreciate that. I have a person who wants to hustle and who wants to get ahead in life and things of that nature. But when you start making that, you know, your sole priority, you know what I mean? And what I mean by sole priority, where you saying, well, hey, I spend this time with you and that should be good enough because I'm doing this. And
Well, you just said 20, 30 minutes is fine.
I did, but I'm saying
But that's the part-
this. I don't need your quality time every day, because that's what I'm getting. Like, you making it seem like
No,
I'm
I
stealing it
said
from you
only on those off
every
days.
day.
Your work day weeks, the days that you have to work, you're not tripping on all this quality time. But the days that you have off, when you have a lot of idle time, that's when it becomes an issue. And what gets me confused is, like I just used as an example, as after we did the dogs and came up, we ate, we watched a little TV and went to sleep. I said, is that quality time? Yeah, that's quality time. Well, then why the very next morning you wake up with this attitude that I'm not spending enough quality time with you?
No, that it wasn't that I had an attitude. We was having a discussion about what quality time was.
No,
And
you
I was
brought it
telling
up.
you
You
when I
brought
was
it
telling
up.
you what
You
it
were
was
like,
meant to
I
me.
need to talk to you
You-
about something.
You
And I'm like, well, we just did this last night,
See,
so
that's
why
what-
do you want to
that's-
talk about it this morning? Like nothing was done
I
just
don't
last
recall.
night.
I don't recall, the whole situation of how it came about and me talking about the quality time after we just spent all this
So
time
you don't remember
together.
waking up the very next morning and saying something about the quality time?
I don't.
So how did we even get to this conversation that we having now?
You?
Right, I brought it up, but I
You
brought
were
it up
saying that
because it
this
was
is
just
something
an
we need
issue
to-
that
we
we
need
just
to-
went through
we need
on
to-
Friday.
We need to.
And today is Sunday.
We need to talk about it exactly, because to me, like for me, I think it's like when I'm home and stuff like that. Yeah, I want to spend time with my wife and stuff like that. But I know you got a busy schedule. I do, and I be feeling like sometimes, you just far exceed, what needs to be, done. I just feel like this. You feel as if you have to get everything done in a day. Every day, you just have to. I have to get this done. Not understanding that tomorrow is a new day, and if you got everything done yesterday, you wouldn't have nothing to do today. And
That's
sometimes
not true in
people,
my case.
need stuff to keep them motivated and to keep them going. Like my grandmother, my great grandmother lived all the way up until her 90s. But each and every day of those 92 years or whatever, from the age of where she was, either babysitting or cooking or doing something. And then once they took that away, it seemed like that's when things just started falling apart. My point is this, is that, you ain't gonna get everything done in one day. You just not. You know what I mean? You can stack your plate, you can stack your plate, you can stack your plate. You can assume that you're gonna get it done today, but like I said, blueprints change all the time. Save some work for tomorrow.
I'm gonna have new work for tomorrow. So my motto
mean-
is, why put off
I mean-
today? Why put off tomorrow what you can do today?
True too, but at the
If
same time,
I can get as much
at the same
done
time,
today,
but the
then
more-
tomorrow I
but-
don't have
but-
to worry about that.
but it's gonna be something new. So there's always something.
Right. So
It's
what I didn't finish
always
yesterday is gonna spill over until tomorrow. Now tomorrow I got other stuff, new
But
stuff
you-
that I
but you know
still
what I
got to
noticed
do.
about
So
people-
that's doubling up my work.
What
Why
I
not
noticed-
finish as much as I can?
What I noticed about people that multitask, and I'm a multitasker, but only with my multitasking is that I put time frames on mine because I know I have other projects to do. So I can't spend, 4 hours on this one project knowing that I have 3 other projects. See how I do things like this. Like I know I got a laundry list of stuff that I need to do. So I'll take 4 items off of that laundry list, 4 items, and I'll put the one that's most important, that needs to be done the most first, and then so on, and so on, and so on. And I give each task a certain amount of time, judging from what it is. And then once I get close to that time and I see that I'm not finished, I'll try to bring it closer to completion as possible, then I'll move on to the next one. That's the whole purpose of setting the time for me. So I set that time. Once I get to that time and I realize I'm close to it, but I'm not finished with the project, I'll go on to my next.
Might be the battery.
Go
ahead.
Yeah, but that's how I do. Now people do stuff differently. You know, my way ain't. It works for me. It may not work for you. You know what I mean?
That doesn't work for me because I don't like to leave projects incomplete like that. I heard you say, and I could be wrong, but this is what we learned in therapy, to repeat back what you heard the person say. I heard you say you'll pick 4 things. You'll have a long laundry list. You'll pick 4 things. Just for an example, you pick 4 things off your laundry list.
For that day.
You'll start with one thing, and you'll allot a certain amount of time for that thing. Now, once you've reached that time, if you haven't finished, you leave that as it is, and you go on to the next thing. So that's one thing that's incomplete. You started it, but it's not finished. So then you go on to the next thing. If you don't finish it within that amount of time, then you leave that incomplete and go to the next thing. So if you do that for all 4 jobs, you got all 4 jobs started, but nothing is complete. So when are you going to go back and complete that?
Now here's the thing.
Next day?
Now here's the thing.
And you still got this laundry list of things?
Now here's the thing. Now here's the thing with that right there. Each project that I have, it's a guesstimated time, because depending on the complexity of the task determines the time. Now I may look at a project and say, oh wow, this project is going to take 3 hours, so I'll give it 4. I may finish it in 2, and so forth and so on. So it doesn't, because I say that it's incomplete or whatever, it doesn't mean that it's incomplete or anything like that. It just means that probably I ran out of the time, or I miscalculated or whatever. But the thing is this, I always give an assessment. You don't never say, okay, that right there is I'm trying to think of a perfect analogy. Anyway, I just feel like this. If I look at a project, and for me, knowing my skill set, and depending on what the project is, I'll look at it and say, oh, that'll take 30 minutes. But then I'll say, you know what? I'm going to give it 35, because I know things don't always go according to plan. Now, some tasks may take longer than others, but the majority of the stuff that I do, it doesn't even require like an hour or so. So I'm already knowing that when I go into a project, that it's not going to take that long, because I didn't already sized it up and I already know what I got to do. Besides, if it's repetitive, if I keep doing the same thing every day, I'm going to find ways to manipulate the time anyway to make it faster. I'm going to come up with innovative ways. I'm going to come up with shortcuts. I'm going to come up with creativity to create a situation where I could get this out the way and move on to the next one.
So the question was, what do you do with those projects that you left incomplete because you ran out of time?
The thing is this.
Question.
All your projects, you're not going to run out of time. You're not.
So the incomplete one, you're gonna go back if you
after I do my projects, because I'm only gonna do 4. I'm only gonna do enough where I can handle, because I know it's so many hours in a day, and I know I have to be fresh for other things. So with those 4 things that I have, the one that requires the most time, that probably would be the last one for me. It probably would be the last one, but like I said, I give an estimated time on everything. It's like when you're traveling and you're looking at your navigational system and you're trying to go somewhere, it gives you an ETA, an estimated time of arrival.
But you continue to keep not answering the question.
The question
was, what do you do, or when do you go back and complete those projects?
Because there's so many hours in a day, and I already set the hours on how much time I'm going to put on each project. It's not going to be 24 hours.
If you don't complete it, when are you going to go back?
I'm going to go back once I completed that last thing.
The next day?
No. Here's the thing. I got 4 items on my list. If the first one is incomplete, I go to the second one. The second one is going to be done. The third one is going to be done. The 4th one is going to be done, because I'm going to do it.
So then you'll go back to the first one.
Once I finish those 3 right there, because I'm going to get my task done. then I'm going to go back to that first one and complete, because you've been working on it for so long already and you're so close to it that it ain't going to require that much more time. If it is, then that means you, for me, that means you took on a bigger project than what you expected.
So I think the bottom line is we both need to be respectful of how we want to do certain things in our lives as far as our businesses or tasks or whatever. So if what I do works for me, I think that you should let that work for me. And if what you do and how you do yours work for you, I think I should let that work for you. And not try to get